It is quite literally 4:29 in the morning right now. Why can't I sleep? Why can't I sleep? Why can't I sleep? My sleep schedule is just so messed up. It's not like I'm not like really trying that much to like fix it even, but I just want to complain about it. That's not what this video is about. It's not about my sleep problems. It is about being yourself and how to be yourself. I think growing up, I want to provide some context as to like why I'm even talking about this. I think like growing up, a lot of people are just like, be yourself and, people will like you. Actually, like I was told the opposite, but regardless, generally people are told like, if you be yourself, things will happen and you'll meet the right kind of people. And they were right about that. Like, they're right. They're onto something, because I think the way we live our lives as people, it's not as congruent to what we want ourselves to be. It's not that perfectly aligned. It's not as perfectly aligned as we think it is, at least in my opinion. And I think that like it shows up as kind of like it manifests in our life in different kinds of ways that we don't even realize, like different kinds of stressors or different kinds of problems that we have to deal with. It's because, our ideal life and the life that we're living is like not as close as we want it to be. And that gap is where we find those problems. And I think in my journey of trying to figure out how to close that gap or narrow that gap, it's always been, how can I be as authentically myself as possible? And every time I asked myself that question or came towards that question, it always seemed to lead me down good paths. It always seemed to lead me down paths of thoughtfulness, paths of, constructive questioning. It's always led me down these paths of coming to understand myself and my habits and my behaviors and my thoughts. And they've generally been good outcomes for me. And just purely based off of that, I think that having those conversations with yourself and asking that question about authenticity and living your life as closely to your ideal life, I think that's the way to like truly live life and be happy. I think that in the past, I definitely struggled with this, mainly because obviously, like I said, I was told, I think every single one of my family members has told me like, don't be yourself, because you want to make friends, you want to meet people, make connections, get the job, say the right thing to your boss, something that's meaningful in this world, but has no inherent meaning to you. Like, you're not there. You're just a shell. You're made to put on this kind of like mask or this costume in order to, elicit the reactions that you want. What if I told you that you will get even more authentic, more memorable, more important memories and conversations by removing yourself from that mold, that cast that everybody is trying to put you in, and kind of be this kind of enigma, this amoeba of personality, of personalities, because that's what makes you who you are. I think that would really help you. This helped me, I think. I'd like to believe. And I was saying, like, because people have said those things to me in the past. I guess I was like kind of grew up like off kilter, like off the congruence of like people generally, like as they get older developmentally, they get closer and closer to like, security and like, their life and like living it, obviously. But I think like because of those moments I've had in the past, my life has kind of been like like it started off, kind of coming to that like actualization, but then it kind of like, because of these events, it went like kind of diverted path a little bit. And I think I got lost for a little while. I think for a couple of years. It was definitely like the worst time of my life, worst period of my life. I remember it was so bad that I had no identity. And it's hard to develop an identity when you're a teenager. I'm still so young, but when I was a teenager. But I remember there's this one thought that I always had when I was growing up, and it was a pretty sad thought. So, trigger warning, I guess. But it's kind of like I actually truly 100% believed that it was a million times worse to be a mean person than to be a depressed person. And I don't want that to be taken out of context, mind you. It's not like you can just be mean to everybody all day, all the time, and like get what you want in life. No, that's not what I'm saying. In my head, I was so completely focused on the things that I wasn't or I didn't want to be. Like, I didn't want to be depressed. I didn't want to be as skinny. I didn't want my body looking a certain way. I didn't want this. I didn't want that. I wasn't very acutely aware of what I was becoming. And that's a very dangerous path to divert on for such a long time. So if you get anything from this video, because I feel like my thought process has been all over the place, my apologies, but if you get anything from this video, it's to realize that the second you see yourself walking down that path, you need to stop. You need to stop and you need to turn around, because any more of that and it will become kind of this rabbit hole that just sucks you in, where you just focus on the negative, you focus on the bad, you focus on all the things that are going wrong in your life. It affects you. It affects your personality. And I see it in my day-to-day, like, people who are completely bitter and hopeless. And I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. So I think it's very important to like acknowledge all of these and try to get back on that path so you can start growing to your ideal self. And just be yourself. I think that's the first step to achieving that congruence. Yeah. Thank you for listening to me. If anything I said was even like minutely helpful or relatable, please let me know. I love to hear what people have to say. I love being perceived sometimes when I want to be, and now I want to, so please perceive me. But yeah, that's the end of the video. It is currently 4:39 a.m. I'm gonna try to sleep. It's not gonna work, but I'm gonna try. Okay. Good night. Good morning.